GM. Alrighties. Alright, let me just drop the link again, just so there's some people to jump in. Morning. Thanks for joining me, guys. Just setting it all up. We'll be discussing the markets very shortly. You're welcome for them, of course, mate. Okay, yep, there we go. Morning, guys. Morning, thanks for joining. Morning, everybody. Just a sec, just dropping it in all my Discords. Alrighties. Join LOL community. I'll have a look. Don't worry, we can have a look at all these tokens soon. Just give me a sec to send all this out. Alright, mad. Oh, legend. Alright, cool. Alright, it's about 10 of you here. Fantastic. GM, everybody, GM. Obviously, this is Sunday morning for me, so it's nice to relax on a weekend. Hopefully we can look at some decent plays. I was just sending out some leverage plays to my group, actually, so that's why I was a little bit later. But essentially what we'll look at today is just a crypto market update. Nothing too special. I'll look at we'll do a whole survey of tokens. We'll look at NFTs across several blockchains. We'll look at some different assets that I'm starting to look at as well as the market starts to move across different chains. Now, interestingly, I actually want to share this tweet with you. I retweeted this last night. Let me just pull it up. Now, this is where I really start to get bullish on Solana, okay? Let me just pull it up now. All right, there we go. All right, mad. All right, so if you have a look at my screen here, guys, so this is where I started to get so bullish on Solana, right? So yesterday, Solana flipped Ethereum in DEX volume. Now, that is huge, okay? And you can obviously start to see that as the sentiment changes, not only on Twitter, but also in volume on the DEXs that we like to track, okay? You can see it in the NFTs as well. We'll look at that shortly, but we'll look at all of the ins and outs about why Solana still remains probably the highest conviction play for this cycle, that's for sure. But yeah, fascinating here. And it's great to see Avalanche moving up in terms of DEX volume as well. I think Avalanche definitely should be number 3 in time, just as people start to wake up to it for sure. But I found that one super interesting. Another site that I like to check, obviously every single day, guys, is the Crypto Slam. This is where you can get your NFT volume. Okay, again, if you look over on the side, okay, this is 24-hour volume, but Solana, again, is performing ETH in terms of NFTs. Obviously, we have a lot of BTC stuff going over on here on the side. Again, I'm not too much of a BTC maxi in terms of the NFT plays. The one I would potentially pick up is a Bitcoin Frog, just being the ones that I've heard a lot of good news about. But again, these BRC20 tokens / NFTs are really starting to take off, okay? So that's one thing to keep an eye on for sure. Obviously, Bitcoin is a little bit slower, so I just like to focus on my niche, and my niche is obviously mainly ETH, Sol, and now AVAX, obviously. But I am starting to look into Celestia as an opportunity. I'm also starting to look on Injective as well. There's been a few people in my group who've been trading on Injective. We'll look at that later today as well. So I'm just looking over at the charts at the moment. We'll pull them up in a moment. But I'm just looking over the TVL, yeah, and just seeing how much volume there is over there this morning when I wake up. Yeah, so ETH's still quite high. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, okay, man. All right, so obviously, thanks for being here, guys. GM. Smash that like button. It helps me grow, guys. Please subscribe down below, too, if you haven't already. I'm dropping daily videos. Unfortunately, I've been sick this last couple days. I tested positive for COVID after my large weekend last week. And so, unfortunately, I've been recovering the last few days. You can probably hear it in my voice still as well. But obviously, we're still trying to get this content out to you at the moment. So please, sub down below and smash that like button. Now, obviously, there's a few good plays in the market at the moment. Again, excuse me. Again, I like to check out the news before I start looking at the actual markets as well. So I do come to one of my 3 top places for information. So I'll come to CoinDesk just to see if there's anything going on in the world. Obviously, the SEC are coming out and saying that they really have to reevaluate, or Gary has to reevaluate what his take of Bitcoin and of cryptocurrency. So this basically just shows me that he willingly wants to or has to, essentially approve all of those ETFs in the new year for sure. Again, it's fascinating here. This is crazy here. Like markets coming down. Not markets. Rates coming down next year is super bullish for risk on assets. And these are the sort of things that you want to have a look at from a macro perspective, because without the macro and conditions, like the whole reason we ran into a massive pump last cycle is because we had so much money printing, and so many people had like stimmies, so many people had money that they could inject into risk on assets. So that's why we started to pump last cycle. And that was straight after the COVID dip as well. Whereas today, it's obviously because we're coming from inflation starting to come down, rates are starting to come down, so people feel more inclined to jump onto different assets. So that's always one you want to be checking, guys. Again, Polygon's starting to maybe step up their side again of development. Okay, Solana. Again, people starting to switch onto Solana, and whatnot. So, the Ledger hack, that was really interesting. There was also another hack yesterday about NFT Trader. So always do your due diligence, guys. Make sure you do go to revoke.cash if you do need to be careful with some of these sites that you might have used previously. All right, onto the charts. So if we have a look at the charts, this is obviously the one that I always start on, guys. It's the total market cap. If we have a look here, we are sort of in a consolidation pattern. We've obviously pumped. This is on the daily chart. So we've obviously pumped quite a lot over the past couple of weeks. We obviously consolidated after the breakout here at the $1.3 trillion mark. But up here, we're sitting at that 1.55 sort of level. Again, if we start to zoom out, I always like to take a larger mindset, a larger time frame. Okay, again, we have the expected halving in about 3 months time now, probably around that time period. But we needed to consolidate here again, like I spoke about on my previous live stream. You can see that we're starting to test that resistance or support from last cycle. So it's no wonder we might just stop here for a bit of time. I think we chop probably for the next couple months. Obviously, there will be some tokens that outperform other tokens. There's that always happens. But I think the whole crypto market might just start to chop for the next couple months. Again, we'll look at some of my favorite altcoins. Again, I like to look at all the totals. So this is total 2, which includes ETH but excludes Bitcoin. Again, it has broken up, not as aggressively as maybe total. So total market cap probably a little bit more aggressive. But if we have a look here, total 2 has Ethereum with it. So obviously Bitcoin has outperformed Ethereum. We all know that at the moment. I'm very intrigued to see how ETH goes this cycle. I think it'll just gradually go up as the market goes up. I still think things like Avalanche and Solana will just outperform the rest of the market. Purely from a development side of view, a trading side of view, like I just think ETH maybe was last cycle, and like I was calling for a couple months ago, I think buying Solana under 20 or around that $20 value was essentially like you were buying ETH at $200 last cycle, and ETH went on to do about a 20x from there. So that's what I would like to see Solana hit that $400 level, but people are calling for 1,000, so that would be incredible returns. And then lastly, obviously we have our altcoin one So I was drawing that the other day. But as you can see here, the altcoins have outperformed. So this is a really interesting chart. Okay, so if you look at ETH included in the altcoins, it's obviously a lot slower moving up here. Whereas if you look at altcoins, and you can even see it on the chart, the altcoins are still outperforming ETH and also outperforming BTC. So that's always fascinating to look at because altcoins at the end of the day are a lot more risky, but they can reap a lot more rewards, obviously. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. But if you have a look here, the altcoin market has certainly moved up quite aggressively in the past couple months. GM everyone, thanks for joining. Yeah, Cosmos. That's one I haven't actually looked at for a while, so I can pull up that chart. I'll pull up that chart once we get down into the altcoins. So we have a look at Bitcoin. Again, it's on quite a tear. Again, we're kind of no man's land. We might chop here for a little while. It looks like we might be trying to test these sort of levels of support. Okay, around this mid to low 40 level. Again, I would expect it to just sort of hang out here for a bit, maybe into the new year. We might pump. If you remember last year, it was actually January that set us off. I think where are we? Yeah, literally right here. So in January last year, guys, we pumped quite aggressively. All right. So literally Jan to Feb, we were up by 35%. So we had the lows around this time last year. So again, I wouldn't expect, like, people start to go away for Christmas. People like to spend money in presents and go away and travel, that sort of thing. So perhaps we might cool off for a couple of weeks over the Christmas break, and then maybe into the new year again. As people return, the market might start to heat up again. It's sort of where I'm starting to hedge my bets. Again, the ETF narrative, it's interesting. Like, I've been following a lot of people about like how you can sort of play that. I think the best way to do it, you don't want to try and sell and buy, like sell high and then buy low. Like, you're just going to ruin yourself in the longer term sort of mindset. So my philosophy has always just been buy low and DCA into the conviction plays for as long as you can, and then eventually you'll start to realize your gains over a longer period of time. Whereas if you try to, like, say you're trying to sell the top right now at like what BTC hit 45, for example, say you try to time that and then you're trying to get back in at 37, like, you just might not see 37K again. So you need to be really just aware of sort of market sentiment. And I honestly think all pullbacks at the moment are for those dips that you want to be DCAing into, particularly your main sort of conviction plays, and we'll talk about them in a bit. But that's a BTC chart, lots of strength there. Obviously, we broke out of this range at 30K quite a while ago. Obviously, we spoke about ETH quite a while, quite a times. It just has been lagging, and that's again why this is why this chart's so important. Like, this is Solana versus ETH, guys. Like, that's why I was so bullish on Solana, not only from a token chart perspective as well, but just from the utility side of Solana and the FUD that was associated with it because of that FTX debacle. So it definitely was the reason why I had more exposure to Solana compared to ETH. And again, if we look at the BTC chart, so I have been, so this is still on the weekly, so we're quite zoomed out at the moment. We might zoom in actually and look at it, look at some of the charts on a lower time frame. But if you have a look here, guys, like, again, it has to hold this level, otherwise ETH's going to go down to 4% of BTC's sort of worth. So essentially, that's quite a lot. Like, that's literally a whole 100% down from its all-time highs in comparison to not all-time highs, but last cycle's comparison to BTC. So again, if we have a look at the chart, April 2021. So it was a bit delayed during the pump last cycle too, but I would love for ETH to hold this level, don't get me wrong, but I just, based on the DEX volume of Solana, based on so many other facets, the gas is too expensive, people don't want to trade on ETH, people aren't even looking at the NFT side on ETH because it's so expensive as well, and just they aren't moving as fast as like Solana and other tokens. So it's just fascinating because like, narrative can be everything in crypto, okay? And hype is good, obviously, but narrative is everything. And so if you have a look here, guys, this is where I've been a bit weaker in my positions with ETH. So that's where I'll be keeping an eye on the charts at the moment, okay? But let's do a bit of TA on the smaller time frames. So if we look at the 4 hour, there we go. So if we look at the 4 hour, it looks like we kind of maybe have a double top here, hence why that we had that liquidation event, which is the dump there, okay? But again, it looks like we might consolidate sort of, either you could draw like a support and resistance, and you could trade the swing trades here just between those levels, and you could draw in a 0.5 level using your fibs if that's something that you're into. Again, this is for short-time traders. So if you draw that in, the 0.5 level would be around this sort of level here. So you could swing trade it between 0.5 to 1 to 0 as the short-time trade. And I like to do that when I do have some spare time. That's a good way to trade. But if you're looking here, you could see that we could consolidate in this range here. We could potentially just be forming, again, a consolidation pattern as a triangle too. Okay, so yeah, that's probably a little bit stronger there. Again, you could probably draw this a couple of ways. You could have that base of support there, or you could potentially be drawing your triangle sort of maybe like this as well. And this is the fascinating thing about markets is that you can perform it in so many different ways. And if one chart doesn't show one thing, then definitely look at potentially changing it a little bit just to see what is happening. So obviously we could be nearing what's the date today? Yeah, so in a couple of days' time we could be nearing either a breakout higher or a breakdown lower on BTC. So that's what I'm looking at for BTC, and that's on the 4-hour chart. Again, you can go even lower. You can go in the 1-hour chart if you're a super degen, which it just gives you a bit more clarity. And again, you can sort of trade ranges on the 1-hour chart. So as you can see here, guys, this is why it's always good to check out charts. So you can see here that we are literally holding that level as support. So we've broken out above, we held it, we fell below it, we then respected it, we then broke above it. So you could be trading these 1-hour sorts as well. If you're into that sort of stuff, obviously you need to be pretty much glued to the charts to do that sort of stuff. And then we obviously are retesting that support now, whether we can hold it or whether we go up here and retest the top of that range, okay, or we go down, okay, that's obviously what you would be doing your price action at. So that's how you can trade on the lower time frames. Obviously I like to take a weekly sort of daily chart mindset when I'm looking at the markets from a more macro sort of mindset, but that's how you can trade on an hourly. Again, let's look at ETH on an hourly, very similar chart to BTC, probably a little bit more choppy. So no clear sort of support. You could probably say, again, you like to zoom back and see if there's previous support somewhere else, but obviously this was a breakout from the larger range, so I already know that. But you could be saying that could be this sort of the range there. We had a deviation above and we fell back into the range. If we have a look here, yeah, I could say that that's probably a range again. Okay, and so as you can see here, guys, we trade in and out of the range. So we're bouncing up, bouncing up, bouncing up. We think that we're going to break out. We consolidate. This is a deviation above the range. We would like to hold that and then move higher like this, but obviously we didn't. We fell back into the range. Okay, we chop, chop, chop. We then deviated below the range. Again, I'd be looking for a potential short if it was to hit there and go there and sort of reject of that level there at the 2186, but obviously didn't. It went back in. We consolidated, and now you're sort of trading again in that range there. So you can do a lot with smaller time frames if you just have the time and the mindset around watching those support and resistance sort of levels. And someone who's really good at this is Trader XO. I followed him for a very long time. He has a massive following on YouTube. That's sort of where I got the mindset. Like, you can trade in so many different ways. Some other Eric Crown is another guy that I follow on YouTube. He's excellent. I've been following him for honestly like 4 or 5 years now. He trades statistics. So again, you find what works for you, and that's essentially how you want to be trading. Okay. But yeah, you can trade support and resistance very easy. That's the best way to trade. You can obviously start to include other things. Like, you can get the Gaussian channel out if you want. You can trade on indicators such as some of my favorites here, Bollinger Bands. You can have divergences. So Trader Fred trades off divergences. You can trade off RSI. You can trade off volume profiles as well. You can trade off so many different things, guys. Moving averages is a popular one as well. So yeah, whatever works for you, find what, like, go around, have a look at the different indicators, see what works for you, see what doesn't work for you. So that's ETH. Again, this is AVAX. Let's zoom out. We'll start with the weekly, and then we'll zoom in. So again, like I said to you a couple of videos ago, we just still have so much room to move. I would maybe, okay, so this is fascinating, right? So you can see here, we're starting to approach a level of previous resistance. Obviously, we tested this as support last cycle. We broke through this. So this would be a good level of potential resistance. Okay, that would have been a really good target. Okay. As you can see here, so there's definitely a lot of liquidity probably lying here thinking we might short AVAX from these levels. So that's definitely one to watch on the weekly. So it's always good to start on higher time frames and then slowly zoom in. Again, on the daily, it's just been incredible. Look how, like, it's just been up only, really, hasn't it? So that's pretty crazy as well. So again, you can see we have been rejected from this level. So either we push through, or we might start to see AVAX move down. So we might start to see it move down and maybe consolidate in this sort of area here as well. So let's have a look again on the 4-hour and then the 1-hour for AVAX. Yeah, so it's been up only. So again, as you can see here, guys, up only. So I'd be watching that quite aggressively. You might be able to get a short, or a long in. Okay, so it looks like we try to break above that level. Again, that's the weekly. So it's always good to zoom out. Okay, look at the support resistance levels and then see what's doing on the smaller time frame. So if you look here, this is on the 4 hour. We're looking at AVAX here. We obviously have tried to break out and then retest and go up here, but we obviously have fallen back in here. So I would start to look at maybe potentially falling in here if there's weakness across the market, and then trade AVAX down as a short. But again, you're trading against a macro trend of bullish, so you need to be super careful of trades like this because the sentiment and the current macro conditions is bullish. So you want to be making sure that you're probably leaning in that factor as much as possible. Ideally, what you'd like to see is maybe that we chop here for a couple of days. So that would be till Monday night, and then maybe it breaks up and then breaks there and then pushes higher into this week. Now, again, trading on the weekends is fascinating because it can be quite hard. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on when you're on the weekends. So that's AVAX. We'll look at the 1 hour because it's always good just to see what's going on. And again, it's probably going to be quite similar. Yeah, quite a similar sort of thing. You can't really draw support and resistance. You could say it's not really. No. Yeah, levels there that you could trade. No, so that's the 4 hour chart is what I'd be looking for, the 1 hour chart as well, guys. All right, let's go to Sol. So obviously AVAX is really outperforming 8% in the last day. That's just crazy, or the last few hours. So this is Sol. Again, we'll start on the larger time frames. And this is what I like to do, guys. This is how you should spend your time, just so that you can learn how to trade markets and so that you can learn how to go about these sort of things, okay? Feel free to comment any tokens you want me to check out. So I'll check out Cosmos because someone mentioned that before. But yeah, please comment any tokens you want me to check out, and I'll be sure to have a look. Okay. So again, Solana's starting to slow down. We're starting to see. So we tested this previous support level here. So there's no surprise that it was potentially the resistance zone. That is a crazy breakout when you think about it, guys. So it's no surprise that we might be just slowing down for a little bit here. But we have pumped that whole dump for Solana was bought up, which is great to see. That shows me that it wants to continue higher. Again, similar chart to AVAX. If you have a look here, we kind of have a channel that we're playing in, sort of thing like this. Okay, so we might be looking at a potential break up or break down, more likely break down with a chart like that. Okay, so again, I would be watching that on the shorter time frames. So that's the daily. So again, we'll zoom in on the 4 hour, see what's happening on the 4 hour. It's obviously respecting that sort of levels. Yeah, okay. So again, you're making higher highs, and so this is really basically, guys, this is how you can track sort of what market's doing. These are higher highs, all right, higher highs, and then higher highs. Now, as you can see, the higher highs are starting to get a little bit less. So that shows me that we might start to see maybe a reversal or just consolidation. Doesn't have to go down. Could just consolidate sideways for a while. And obviously we have higher lows as well. Okay. So this is sort of just how you can track. So I'd be maybe looking for a lower high there. And then maybe we'd look again for continuation up here in the coming days. But that's just how you can sort of track sort of just general market sentiment around a token. Again, I wouldn't be touching something like this, okay? There's just not much on the 4 hour here that you can be sort of trading. The Bitcoin one was a lot easier to trade. The ETH one was a lot easier to trade. You could sort of draw a couple levels. Let me just have a look. You could draw a couple levels like this, okay? And then maybe, we kind of broke out there. Yeah, so you could say that is a potential range for Solana on the 1 hour, but again, that's very, very vague compared to some of those other tokens that we were looking at. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at for Sol. Nothing too worrying, but also nothing too bullish at the moment. And again, it's weekends, and so a lot of people don't like to trade on weekends, so that's always fascinating to keep an eye on for sure. That side of things. Okay, so again, thanks for being here, everybody. Please smash that like button. Definitely comment any tokens you want me to check out. Let me have a look. Can't catch Aussie time. It's midnight. Yeah, well, I actually think that this time works best as an Aussie because essentially you can trade when sort of America / Europe and stuff in the afternoon / evening, so it's a bit easier for people to jump on. So I'm just checking. Yeah, okay, cool. Chart GM Bear. Thanks for being here, bro. Myro, yeah, bro. We'll look at Myro soon. We're just going through the top altcoins soon. All right, so we'll go through some of the ones that are pumping. So Vulcan Forge, obviously, super bullish on this one, guys. Like if you look at the gaming narrative too, like if Vulcan Forge still has so much room to go. So if I just pull up. Come on, there we go. So if I just pull up this, like if we look at just the total market cap, so this is at 2.8 8 billion. So Immutable X is clearly out ahead. Okay, Beam has been on a tear again this last sort of week or so, and it's up to 1 billion. So if you scroll down, Vulcan Forge is still, it's only at 178 mil. Like Vulcan Forge just has so much potential. Okay, for the platform that they have, for the utility that they provide, like it's a no brainer that this one will pump moving into the cycle. That I could easily see that hitting a bill next cycle for sure, or this cycle more so. Okay, so that's why I'm bullish on Vulcan Forge. But obviously, let's look at the chart. So again, it's been so long in that accumulation zone, and it's starting to just consolidate, which you'd like to see. Like you don't like an up only chart, like Bonk, and we will look at Bonk and we'll look at Miro for sure. But like you don't want something like that because yeah, it's fascinating, it's great, you can make insane returns really quickly, but it's just not healthy, guys. And you want a healthy market to be trading in, and that's the main thing. So Vulcan Forge looking good, consolidating here for a period of time before it moves up to its next sort of range. Pepe's obviously been breaking out the last few days as well, which is great to see. I bought some of this at these lows the other day because I think it's a good hedge to have as the meme token. Okay, Doge has slowed down a bit too. And until like I'm really hammering on that Doge narrative of Elon implementing it to X, that's where I'm probably bullish on Doge the most, and the normie factor that people come in and go, hey, I want to buy some Bitcoin, hey, I want to buy some Doge. I think those are really two fascinating ones. Like if I speak to my friends, they're always like, oh, hey man, like what's Dogecoin doing, or is it still a joke? So they know about it. So if they do enter the market, they're probably going to buy that one. So Pepe is a good hedge because it's obviously the newer meme. Obviously memecoin as well is one that I haven't really been looking at, but could be a potential play. We'll look at all those meme coins soon, guys. Don't worry. Thanks for putting them in there. I will look at them very shortly. But yeah, so if we're looking here, again, I spoke about in my video just yesterday actually about Gamblefy as well. I think Gamblefy, like Rollbit's just been consolidating. So this is what you want to see. It held this level here as previous support, which is great. I think this would have been on a weekly chart if we have a look at those levels. Yeah, so if you can see here, it wicked down to that level previously, and then and it held above there. So that's good for Rollbit. I think it might consolidate here and then move up again. Again, this is a higher time frame evidence of a bullish structure, right? So we have lower highs here, lower high, then we have high, and then we have high. So I would expect Rollbit to move up sort of to this range in the coming months or so. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at for Rollbit. Outside that, there's sort of tokens that we're looking at. Obviously, someone asked about Cosmos, so I'll pull up the Cosmos chart and we can have a look at it. So this one I haven't looked at for a long time, okay, but let's have a look. So I have heard due to injective and that sort of thing moving up, Cosmos has been moving up a little bit. So again, as you can see here, this chart's a lot different to a lot of other charts. So if you look at it, so it had a double top for sure, even a triple top you could nearly call it. It went down 85%, so it's still consolidating here. So this could be okay, I see what you're looking at here. Okay, let's look at draw that base of support there. Pull that down a little bit. So again, this is on the weekly, guys, so it's very slow moving. But this is very okay. So this could be a good leverage sort of trade. A bit of a Cosmos long here. Okay, so that's the weekly. So again, we'll go down to the daily just to see what's happening on a shorter time frame. All right, just waiting for my charts to work. Okay, it's wanting to glitch right now. All right, might have to come back to Cosmos in a sec. Yo, I think I'm back. It says I'm back. Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. I think I'm back now. Okay, I think my internet dropped out randomly. All right, cool. I'm just waiting for my charts to reload. All right, well, obviously, if you're new here, please sub, guys. I do appreciate you subscribing down below. Smash that like button as well. Helps the algo recognize me. I'm just waiting for Trading View to. Yep, there we go. Okay, it's back. It's mad. Okay, sweet. So I just have to pull up Cosmos again. We had it on Coinbase. All right, cool. And let's share that screen. So share that one. All right. Apologies for that, guys. I'm not sure what happened there. All right. So this is Cosmos. Obviously, we are just looking at on the weekly. Okay. I did say that it sort of was looking to break out. So it looks like it has broken out. Okay. So this is the daily chart. Again, the weekly triangle would have been there, but we dropped out. So have a look here. Yeah, great. Okay, so this could be a really nice leverage sort of long here. So same sort of chart play to Doge and some other coins, Pepe as well, that you could be looking at this from a long perspective over here as well. I might just get out of some tabs just so my internet doesn't fall out again. Okay, there we go. All right, so yeah, definitely looking at potential long here. I would like to maybe zoom in if it kind of could have retested here already. So yeah, no, Cosmos looks healthy for a breakout higher, so that's good to see. Oh no. Oh, thanks, Sexy. All right, so let's go. Yeah, amazing, thank you. All right, there we go. Okay, so this is Cosmos. So again, on the daily, you can see that it's definitely forming this triangle, which is good to see. Like you want to see it form at least 2 or 3 levels of basis support. So bottom of a sort of reversal sort of area. And as you can see here, it has trended up. I'd be inclined to see whether this can continue higher and perform like Pepe and perform like Doge as from a chart perspective. But obviously, we'll be looking here for a potential leverage long on Atom. All right, so apologies for that. All right, so let's we'll start to move into the meme coin side of things. So I'll pull up some of the faves. I'll pull up Bonk first, just to just to look at this craziness. Now, some people in my group were buying the the phone just to get the bonk because in hindsight, like it's a classic DGen move and the Saga phone, and it's a classic DGen move, but it's also like it makes sense, right? If you get free bonk and then you can resell the phone, like you're making money there, so it's a no brainer. But obviously, being Australia, there's a bit more sort of levels for me to go through to get that sort of phone. And who knows? Like it could arrive in a couple of weeks' time. So I decided against it. But again, we're looking at this is the daily on Bonk. If we zoom out on the weekly, it just shows you that you can't just have up only, and that's why this is like, what did we pump to? $3.2 billion. So we're down 30% already. So this is why you like up weeks. Like it's no surprise that we're starting to cool down. The one exception to something like this is a meme coin where there's just so much money being invested in it because it just has a strong narrative at a particular sort of time. So there's definitely one to keep an eye on as the strong sort of outperformer in terms of meme coins on Sol. I think it could, honestly, I've been shouting this out on my timeline, but I think it could easily I think it could easily become the second largest meme coin out there behind Doge. So it's got a while to get to Shiba, but I do think that Bonk could definitely be the one that overtakes Shiba. So we'll look at Myro. Now, obviously, this is one of my faves. It's an easy swing trade. Yeah, so if you're looking here, it does look a bit weak on the 1 day. Again, I've said this quite a few times. Like I wanted it to hold these levels. It's holding these levels, but it's showing a lot of weakness there. Like this big candle here, the fact that it pumped up to this level, but then couldn't. Yeah, that's a 40% move down. So you could have swing traded that, but also I would have loved for it to hold this sort of level. If it could have held that previous sort of high there, that would have made me so much more bullish. But again, I'll just be keeping an eye on Myro here because it does show a bit of weakness. So we could potentially bleed down into that sort of range down there. But ideally, I'll be keeping an eye on this probably on the 4 hour and the 1 hour just to see if we are starting to break down. Okay. Oops. So if we look here, yeah, we are making higher lows still. So that shows me that we are like, that was a lower low, but then that was a higher low currently. I don't know. You just have to keep an eye on this one quite closely because it does look quite weak. Obviously over a weekend too, you might see that it starts to trend down because people don't like to trade on the weekends. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. SNEK, let's have a look at it. This is one that I haven't looked at previously. So let's have a look. Any utility to this, or is this purely a meme? Look at this thing. It's not even that old. I love it though. But this is what I mean. So like you can get into some of these tokens so quite early. So if I have a look here, I would have been drawing something like maybe that. So it has broken out sort of a range that I would have liked to trade. So this is like obviously TA on a really small market cap is like it just, again, you can't trust it all the time. Don't get me wrong, okay? But it shows you sort of again, whether it's bullish or whether it's bearish, okay? And it gives you levels that price does respect. And that's how a price works. Like the psychology of it, the mathematics behind it, the emotional side of it, they do respect particular levels. So we spoke about the support and resistance levels of Bitcoin and Ethereum earlier. That's one way you can trade. Also on meme coins, you can trade something like this. So this just shows me, okay, we're breaking up higher. So you could have you could have looked to enter into something then, all right. But obviously we probably have missed a trade like this, but on a SNEC, let's call it. But that's one to be keeping an eye on. Now I'll show you how I go about my meme coin sort of trading. But like obviously, I like to come to Deck Screener and I like to look at trending, okay? Because trending is essentially where the most volume is. And if there's volume there, that means that there's buyers and that there's sellers. You don't want to be stuck in tokens that don't have many buyers and sellers. So obviously this one is it's in a bearish sort of area now. So I would expect it to, I'd be looking at it, whether this one holds this level here. So this is Bolana. So it's just people come up with the most ridiculous names. We obviously have a double top. Do I have the path? No. So we have a double top. Oh, this one doesn't want to curve. Anyways, we have a double top here. That's so dodgy. But as you can see here, guys, we have a double top. So it's no surprise that we did see this breakdown to previous support. So you could actually look for a long, not a long, but you could look for a little swing trade on this. Back to all-time high. It doesn't give me one. That's a really annoying actually thing sometimes about some of these coins. It doesn't actually give you a percentage return, but I would say that that's probably a 2x up to that previous highs there. So I'd be looking at that. I could also draw a potential level like this, okay, as one that you could be looking at for Bolana. So again, you come back and check this chart in a couple of hours, or we're on the 5 minute here, so maybe in about 20 minutes, and either look if it's moving up or looking if it's moving down. Obviously with meme coins, you can't short them, so the only sort of play with meme coins is that you are sort of looking for it to move up, or you're getting out of a trade because it looks like it's going to break down. And I see a lot of people out there that they say, oh no, hold your bags in meme coins. But man, like if your trade, like protecting your capital is just as important as making profit. Okay. Like please understand that. And I find so many people out there just don't realize that. Like there's so many ETH traders that just held their meme coin bags from literally, people had Joe at like 30 million. It's now at 2 million. I looked yesterday. Like, if you need to take profit along the ways, and then if it looks weak based on a chart setup, then you need to be making sure that you are protecting your capital, because if you don't have capital, you don't have liquidity, you can't make trades, and it's as simple as that. Okay. DCA bear. Yeah, look into it, mate, because like it's respecting that support level. But if it bangs on that support level enough, then it probably will break down a little bit. So I'd be looking at potential low, like somewhere as a previous support level for Myro for sure, bear. What's one of the first collectibles on Sol? Is that what we're talking about for Bolana? Des, is that right? Is that what you're talking to me about? Because okay, cool. Okay. So okay, interesting. So it's an actual NFT play. Okay, so this is what I love about Deck Screener too. So it has all your details here. Obviously, I would smash this into my Sol scanner on Telegram. I'd smash into my rug check just to be sure that it's safe. Okay, and to see the contract, to see the liquidity providers, to see whether it's for SNEC. For SNEC. Okay, cool. We'll check out. Yeah, so we looked at SNEC before. So it's quite an early token. So it looked like it was pumping, so that's one that I'd wait for it to maybe come back down and test somewhere that I would like to enter again. But for Bolana, guys, like, excuse me, I would be looking at this and then working out, okay, so I check it for the rug, make sure it's safe, security-wise, so make sure that the top 10 holders, top 5 holders don't have too much of the supply, because they could dump it, particularly if you don't know who the top 10 holders are. Also, if you don't know the dev, that can be quite a worry, I suppose. So a token that so the bra tokens, it's pumped to X. So Pizza gave me that one yesterday. All right, so that's good to see, man. That's good to see. All right, so I'm sorry, I'm just looking at that over there. But back to Bolana. But you want to check it, and then you want to then look at the levels. If you're happy with the security and the safety of a token, that's when you then look at the levels to potentially trade it for higher. So I'm looking at Bolana here, and I do think that this could move up. So I definitely keep an eye on it. And because it's trending as number one, that means that it has a lot of eyes on it. Now with again, this is all I go through. Like I shared this in my private group the other day at about 17 mil, I think it is. Obviously, it pumped up crazy. If you look here, with sort of it probably looks like it is. So, okay, this is a really good potential sign here. So it's obviously banged into support a couple of times like this. Okay, again, apologies for my drawing chart, but it doesn't want to give me the one that I want. yeah, whatever, that's fine. But as you can see here, it's tested this at least 4 times. Actually, it was there as well, but it's broken through. It's now retesting here. So I would actually, if this was a leverage, I would be looking for a potential short here down to lower prices down here. So that's what I'd be looking at for WIF. But obviously this is a meme coin. So if this was me and I had obviously had traded this up to here and I hadn't taken profits in this zone, I would then be looking for me to protect my capital here, because it looks like it's probably showing weakness here. But again, TA is just a provider of some potential either bullish or bearish sort of sentiment on a token. Again, we'll just go through. So this is what I like to do. I like to go through some of these tokens that are trending, because these are often the better plays. Bonkmas, that just sounds like a ridiculous name, but I love it. Again, it looks like we got a bit toppy, so I'd be looking for something really loosely around that. As you can see, a lot of Solana, this is what I'm actually really starting to notice too. A lot of Solana meme coins, they trend up really fast, really quick. They have multiple, it could be a 20x, a 10x straight, like within the first couple of hours. Then they dump. But if you look here, and it happens quite regularly, if you look here, like a lot of tokens form a bottom and then they actually come for a second leg in a couple of days' time or a couple of hours' time, depending on the time frame. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on, because some tokens can absolutely run. Now, I'll just bring this on over, because this was shared to me in our group last night. And I swing traded it because I didn't want to sleep on tokens like this, because look at the liquidity. So this is Bra Toyota Prius. So shout out to Pizza for giving me this one. He was in quite low. I got in around the 32K mark, and I swing traded this first move last night, obviously up to here. So it's about a 30% move on my Solana bag. But again, like as you can see here, he gave me some insider knowledge around the dev and around the top holders. So that sort of information is always good, because it just gives you a bit more sentiment around the trade, particularly as something that's only worth 30K, okay? Because as you previously saw, it pumped quite hard. And again, we're seeing a second life. So same narrative as what I was saying about before with Bonkmas, but as you can see here, it's starting to have a second life and move up quite aggressively. Obviously, if I had held the trade at about 32, which was down about there, I would have made a 2x already. So that's fine. But like at the end of the day, I don't like to sleep on tokens that are quite small, but that's my personal preference. If you have the money to obviously invest in stuff like this, then you can obviously trade stuff like that. All right. So back to trending. So again, this is what I like to do. I like to come here. I like to look at trending, because you could find a potential play in the trending markets. Now, again, a few people ask me sort of like, what about like a trade on some of the larger tokens? So if you like my mindset around larger tokens, so what I mean by that is a larger market cap. So Kitty here is at 1.5. So for Kitty to do a 2x, it needs to hit 3 million. For Brat to do a 2x from my 32K entry last night, it just needs to hit 60K. The amount of liquidity for a 30K to 60K move is far less, like far less than a move from 1.5 million to 3 million. So it's things like that you want to always be considerate of when you're trading meme coins too, because don't get me wrong, like we just saw before, WIF moved from 17 mil to 45 mil, which is a 3x move. And you want to have exposure to potential plays like that as well. However, you want to be making sure that you can sort of understand the mindset of whether you want to allocate a larger bag to sort of things and do a swing trade of like 50% or higher, okay? Or are you looking for those multiple X's? Like we had one yesterday, okay, in the group that I shared, okay? Again, I like to go through these just to see what the sentiment is, okay? Again, this is starting to bottom, so I reckon check back a couple of hours. I reckon Kiwi might be up for another leg later in the day. Silly, I shared this in my group yesterday. Like, what even is this? Like the silly dragon, I don't know. I'm sure there's some like utility or group behind it, but like it's just like it's kind of gone up only for quite a while. So that's been outperforming quite a lot. But again, it's broken its structure too. So it looks like it was kind of trending that way for a while. Okay. And this is a great example of where I would like to cut. So if I'm in a trade and I'm up or I'm down, but I have my levels, right? And my level here would have been this zone here, and it's broken that zone and it's moved back down to potential support levels down here at the 9.8 range sort of thing. So that's how I like to trade, guys. I aggressively take profits and I aggressively cut my losses, because you don't like cut your position, so that you don't maximize your losses. Okay. At the end of the day, you want to protect your capital, and that's all I'm trying to do. And obviously with meme coins, like some of them, things like Bonk and whatnot, you could probably hold in Doge and stuff. You can hold for very long times because they're a longer sort of mindset trade. However, these tokens that we're looking at today, these are these could be 5-minute, 10-minute, hour-long flips, guys. And you don't, essentially what I'm trying to do is collect as much Solana or collect as much ETH or collect as much Avalanche as possible. Okay, so that's the way I like to do it. As you noticed today too, I'm only looking at Solana because Solana's heating up so much. Popcat, I think someone mentioned that in the chat before. Let's have a look at it. So it's a 2.8 million. Yeah, it's looking, again, we're on the 5-minute chart, so it might be better to look at. Yeah, so it's kind of looking quite weak at the moment. So quite an aggressive drop off there. I'd be looking for, it's still setting, so as you can see here, it's still setting lower lows, so lower low, lower low. So until we see maybe that first sort of higher low, that's when I would maybe look for a potential change in market structure for Popcat. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Feel free to drop any tokens in the chat, guys. I'll be sure to check them out. Again, I like to scroll up here to see if there's anything. Bonk 2.0, I can't believe I faded this. Me and my group, we looked at this. All right, it was at 400k, I think, when I shared it in my group. Do I even have the? Yeah, literally. Oh my god, look at this. Look at this. So see that little yellow, drawing? That's when I was looking at Bonk 0.2, okay? Bonk 2.0. And again, like I looked at the safety of it. It had a really risky contract because it was modifiable. It had tax. It had other factors that I didn't really like to trade. However, the narrative, this is a great example where this is a really risky trade, but it can pay off because the narrative is just there for something like this. So this is where we could have literally had a 4 to 5x. Yeah. Oh, that's a 7x, crikey almighty. So it's just like, sometimes you might have to forego the safety and the security, and you might have to be, okay, I'm going to allocate maybe one sol to this play because it could potentially run 7x, and I'm happy to lose that one sol. Okay, so it's things like that sometimes you might want to keep an eye on for trades. All right, but again, for Bonk 2.0, I'd be looking sort of like this. Okay, again, it's starting to, I'm going to say it's probably more of a basis support level up there. So Bonk 2.0, that's what I'm looking at there. So yeah, please comment any pairs you'd like me to check. So this is where I do like to go then after I've looked at the trending / high volume tokens. I like to come here. Again, we're on a weekend, so volume is down. People are out and about. People don't like to trade on weekends because it's hard to, sort of the behavior of people is a bit different. Obviously, I come here, look at ETH. ETH's just been underperforming. If gas is still high, so I like to go and have a look at gas. I'll quickly have a look. It's a 43 Gwei, so that means, basically a swap is $34. So again, that's just eating up so much profit, so much loss potentially too if you need to get into a trade. So say that's 30% if you're trading with $100. And then on the out, that's also another 30%. So that's like 70% of a $100 trade just to be trading on ETH. Like it just makes sense to trade on Solana and AVAX, okay? So I'm not really looking at ETH at the moment. Again, I like to just see what's volume. So volume for ETH at the moment is 21. Okay. Volume for Solana is outperforming. So that's, again, a great sign to see and why you should be spending more time on Solana. And as you can see, it's not dominated either on Solana. As you can see, it's kind of trending across several different tokens, which gives you the idea that there's more opportunities too for a range of different tokens. So that's, again, a main reason why I like to look at Solana. And again, we'll look at AVAX. So AVAX down at 6 mil, so obviously a lot slower moving. We have Monk on there, we have Goat on there. Nothing too really screaming out at me. A few people in several alpha groups that I'm also a part of have been trading on AVAX, which is great because you want to open up your eyes to potential plays over there. But I'm sticking to Solana at the moment just because there's lots of liquidity, there's lots of volume, there's lots of eyes on Solana, and it's cheap and fast. Okay, so please, I can do Wolf on AVAX. So please, that's where I'm hedging my bets at the moment. So I'll just have a drink of water and I'll do Wolf. Now Wolf was one that I had previously looked at. Let's have a look. So Land Wolf here. As you can see here, I think I was trading this. A couple of days ago. We obviously broke out quite aggressively from that breakout there. When was that? 3 days ago. Broke out quite high. Obviously, we've topped out here. So if I was trading this again, I would have looked at this as being the sort of level that I would have been cutting my trade. But if we have a look now at current price action, it looks like we are struggling to hold this support zone here at 6.6. Again, sort of similar to one I shared earlier. If you look here, we've broken below those sort of levels, so that we've broken below that low, we're broken below that support of those closing candles, so that red and the green candle there. So see how they closed and on that. So that would be a respectful level for support that I'd be looking for. So if we can either flip this, so deviation below, if we can flip this hold that and then continue higher, that's a bullish sort of structure. Alternatively, I would be looking for, again, if this was leverage, I'd be looking for here rejection off that and then down for lower prices. That's the two ways I'd be playing that. But obviously, you can't short these tokens, so I'd be looking for the bullish continuation, and then you could maybe see that it might head up a bit higher soon. Okay, so that's meme coins, guys. I'm going to head over to NFTs now and start looking with what's happening here. So if we just refresh Blur, I like to start with ETH NFTs because they just have the history, they have the interest, they have the maxi wallets in there. Again, I'm still staking my Blur airdrop. I think that's going to be an underrated play. Blur's been outperforming for the past month or so, and you can stake your Blaze and do that sort of side of things. But I just thought I might park some money into, or what I got in my airdrop for Blur. I put that straight into staking because I'm accumulating quite a lot of what's it called? Points, sorry. I'm accumulating a lot of points every single day for that airdrop in May next year. So that's an easy way to have exposure to, again, a potential stimmy next year around getting some more free airdrops, okay? So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. So let's have a look at Blur. Again, I like to look at the 15 minute volume to see if there's much happening. Again, you're starting to see that the Pudgy ecosystem is seeing some plays. Azuki's back up at 6. I thought that was fascinating. Actually, I saw that yesterday. Overworld minted the other day, so I'm very curious to see what's happening with the token, but also that supply there with the NFTs as well. But as you can scroll down here, not much interest. As you can see, 15-minute volume, not quite a lot. 1 day volume. Obviously, your top collections have quite a lot because they obviously have a higher floor. Mutants just haven't moved anywhere. Look at that, they're trending down, okay? And I love Yuga because they've done so much for the space. But again, you just like having your money locked up in something like this is just silly because you could be playing so many other different things. Like you could be trading the Pudgies. Like you could have got in Pudgies. Like this is obviously only the month chart, but if you looked back, Pudgies and Mutants were at the same price, like within 2 months sort of period of time, and Pudgies went up to 12 ETH. So like it's just like you want to play the narrative. Yeah, you might like the art of the mutant, and don't get me wrong, I think they're pretty dope, and they have that narrative, they have exposure to Yuga. But at the end of the day, guys, like trade where the liquidity is, trade where the money's going, trade where the narrative is, because that's where you're going to be making the best sort of gains. Okay, so Pudgy's definitely one that I would love. If Pudgy's get down to 8 ETH, even though that's a lot of money, I think that's an absolute steal for a price. Okay, because I could see these rallying to 20 easy in if not higher in particular bullish markets moving into next year. Like if you look, also let's just have a look. So I like to look at the stats too. So 50% owners, that's super bullish. Obviously a low royalty, so that's good to trade with. Listings at 575. So it's a 10K collection, correct? Yeah, no, 888. Yeah, so it's a 9K collection with 575. That's super low. So again, it doesn't take much for these to move up. So as you can see here, it's only probably like 50 trades and you're back at 11 to 12 sort of ETH floor. So again, that's what, if I see these down at the 8 range, that's a steal in my opinion. Obviously, if you have a smaller wallet, and I'm probably not going to buy Pudgy, that's a lot of money. But I would be looking at the little Pudgies. Okay, again, these were half an ETH like a couple of weeks ago. So it's just crazy how quick some of these tokens on ETH can actually move. And obviously ETH being a lot more valuable in terms of token amount compared to Sol, this is where I would like to also have exposure to some NFTs on ETH because they can run up really quick, but they also can run up faster because they have a higher collection. Like ETH is worth more is what I'm trying to say than Solana. So a quick 2x on ETH is far like superior to a 2x on Solana. So that's where you got to keep an eye on. We'll get to Solana NFTs very shortly, but again, these are the sort of collections I'm looking at. Outside that, gaming tokens, there's nothing really here. A lot of blood on NFT side on ETH. One that I have thought about potentially buying is a version 1 punk. Again, very low listings. The owner rate's not great, so a lot of punks are still minting them, and also unwrapping their other one. So like, I don't know, it could be a good play. It's very slow moving. Like that's a 30-day chart. As you can see here, there's probably only 30 trades in the last 30-day chart. And a lot of the time people can dump these into a bid, but the bid level is quite low. And again, if you're farming for the Blur airdrop, you could chuck a bid in here and potentially do a quick flip of 0.4 ETH. But again, it doesn't happen on a collection like this because there's not a lot of eyes. But this is one that I have always kept an eye on just because it could be a good narrative play moving into 2024. All right, so let's look at Sniper. Excuse me. Still recovering, guys, from my sickness. Obviously, if you're here, please smash that like button. Thanks for being here, guys. I really do appreciate it. Again, if you're in the chat, please comment anything you want me to look at. I'm more than happy to do it. Whether it's NFTs or coins or altcoins or whatever you'd like me to look at, I'm more than happy to do that. We'll dive into Sniper and Tensor as well. We'll look at some Solana NFTs, and then I might look at some other NFTs on different chains that I'm looking at the moment. And then after that, we might wrap up the stream for this morning. Okay. So yeah, please smash that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to be dropping another video later today on my channel as well. All right. So let's look at Sniper. So obviously Sniper is the one that I've been using now. Really interestingly, they sort of released some information yesterday about their points. And so I would expect Sniper to maybe have an airdrop soon. So definitely think about trading on Sniper. Same as sort of Tensor as well, which we'll look at very shortly. But it looks like these two Solana platforms are going to be airdropping some tokens to some people very soon. So definitely do check that out. Okay. If you have a look here, Sniper, obviously we've had a lot of the inscriptions just absolutely on a tear. I saw these at 9. They pumped to 90 yesterday or the day before, like just crazy sort of returns. But again, 9x in the space of a couple of hours is pretty crazy on Solana. Tensorians is one that I do not have exposure to, but very interested in, particularly if they can hold the interest after their airdrop. So if you look at this, like that is very bullish. 217 listings. Okay. I saw these at 85. Yeah, this was literally where I saw them. I was like, man, that could be a good trade. And turns out it would have been a really good trade, a good 45 sold trade if you had caught that low. Same as the Mad Lads at 150. That would have been an insane trade the other day. So again, on red days when altcoins and when Bitcoin and stuff are dumping, always look for NFTs because people dump them into crazy bids and then they often bounce back really hard because they are higher riskier sort of plays. But yeah, Tensorians, definitely one on my radar. I think I would pick one up around that 100 sol sort of level, I think is a reasonable sort of level. Again, charting, so around that 103 is probably where I'd like to look. Again, if you look here, listings have been as low as under 100. So listings are trending up, which is surprising even at 217. But yeah, lots of bullish sentiment around them. So I'd need to dive deeper into their ecosystem. But that's one that I'm looking at on Solana at 128. So again, I come back here, Mad Lads at 211, so that's great to see, back above 200. Listings below 400. I tweeted that out yesterday. They were at 155. That's a 60 troll. That's a 60 sold trade like within a couple of days. If you had caught that bottom, I think it was down here. Yeah, it's 160. Yeah, so like that's not long at all. So from there to now, like that's 30% within 3-day period. Like that's pretty easy sort of returns, all right. In NFTs. SMB, they're both up. We traded the SMB 3s. Yeah, so 13, that's above where we sold. So that's great for anybody in that ecosystem. We swung trade them from 7 to about 12, I think it was, from memory. So there's a lot of good plays at the moment on Solana, both in the NFTs and in the meme coin sort of side of things. Bonks is one to keep an eye on. Again, it is sort of slightly correlated to Bonk. I need to do more research into that to clarify. A lot of people are looking into Klano, the Call of Saga again. Could be a better play than because of just return of investment in terms of the higher Klanos. But again, I like to have exposure to the top side of a ecosystem. That's why I would prefer to have pudgy exposure rather than the little pudgy exposure. But again, you can get priced out very easily with these sort of things. Even like Mad Lads right now at 211, that's a lot of money. So Klano's at 57. Again, we were in about 38. So I think it's a hard one for me. I want to swing trade it to 100-ish and get that around that 3x, but I'm super bullish on them longer term from a utilities perspective. So I will keep an eye on that and whether I hold longer term. Maybe I'll pick one up. Actually, if they dip below 50, I think I'll pick up another Klano. Or I'll look into the Saga and maybe I'll pick up a Saga. Obviously there's a lot of plays down here. You can look in, there's lots of, I love the dogs back up. They were at 6.5 yesterday. It's great to see. A lot of plays down here, a lot of gaming tokens, a lot of, gaming sort of infrastructure and other things. Kangpai Pandas is a really interesting play at the moment. Okay, the Nifty Show interviewed Bags the other day, which is really fascinating to see as well. Fu pumped yesterday. One of my group members bought 100 and then pumped it up to 80, like 0.8 sold. So he made a bit of a bag there too. So there's lots of money to be made. You just got to find the right plays on the tokens that you're looking for and on the chains that you're looking for. Okay, but again, I just want to look. So Tensor also is Tensor's a platform like this. It's probably more like your Blur sort of side of things. I prefer Sniper. I just find the interface better on Sniper, but this is what it looks like. As you can see here, they have rewards as well, earn points, referrals, blah 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 for Tensor. So I think this again, if you're an airdrop farmer, okay, looking into Tensor, looking into Sniper, looking into other plays on Solana, but then looking elsewhere on other chains is a really easy way. Looking into Blur on ETH, okay, really easy way to just farm points by doing what you're doing every single day, and that's just trading. Okay, so definitely look into Tensor. Okay, because they are pumping. So wow, that's at 150. Oh, man, they were at 60 or 70, I think, when we were looking at them. That's a 2x easy there, which is great to see. All right, the last couple tabs I'm going to show you guys is just some other chains that I'm starting to look at. Okay, so shout out to a few people in my private group who have been trading some injective NFTs. Excellent to see, because it's great to see that we are starting to see liquidity move into other blockchains and see it move across different aspects across Web3, which is great to just sort of, it just encompasses more people. It means that there's more diversity in terms of returns and that sort of thing. So again, as you can see here, this is Injective's NFT marketplace. Okay, Injective's been on a crazy tear as a token. So you want to be trading a token that's moving up and the NFTs on that token as it moves up, because then you got the double whammy of it moving up and the potential NFTs moving up. Again, I haven't done much research at all into these, but be sure to check this out. So this is called injective.talus.art. Obviously, it's probably more focused on the art side of things, but definitely one that I am keeping an eye on. Yeah, I can go back and have a look at OK Bears. I nearly traded them as well. Let's have a look. They're not trending. Where are you? I might just have to search them. Okay, so just a sec. OK Bears. All right, let's have a look. All right, back to OK Bears. So OK Bears, huge Sol collection. Been around a long time. Listings up quite high. They are trending slightly down, but yeah, that does have me worrying. Okay, it looks like so we have this mad pump here, which is the one that I nearly traded. I was looking down here at 13, I think it was maybe back here on a larger time frame. Yeah, if we zoom out even further, this is a 2-hour chart. No wonder it's so zoomed in. So for OK Bears, I was looking at this. I remember charting it maybe around this sort of level. I was looking like down here, and this was a macro sort of level. And as you can see here, they pumped. I think I was looking at around this 13 level around here the other day, and I started to see that this is a really good charting sort of lesson here, guys. As you can see here, we had lower low, then we had lower lows, okay, down in that way. As you can see here, we had a first change in structure there. We had 3 higher lows. That was the level that I became very interested in OK Bears. I decided to buy a Mad Lad and a Klano instead. Happy with those choices, but an OK Bear would have been a great trade at that point in time. So as you can see there, the 3 orange lines show me that we have a change in structure. That shows me that we are having a bullish structure change, and sure enough, that also tied in with that larger sort of breakout range. That it was a no-brainer to probably take that trade, but I didn't take it. So if you did catch that, like, it obviously you might not caught the peak, but you might have caught it to a certain level. Like that's a 2x 2.5x up there. So you need to be looking for stuff like that. Again, OK Bears here. I'm very curious to see whether it can hold this level. At what level are we at? 22 sort of Sol range. So I'd be looking for either a break up here, and ideally like a breakout retest bang, okay, or it looks like we might trend back down into this consolidation range here, down at that mid-teen sort of level for OK Bears. So that's what I'm looking at there. Again, they have a lot of good utility. So I would love to see them succeed, and I would love to maybe trade them. I'm just like, I don't know. I think there's just maybe better plays in the Solana ecosystem at the moment. That's probably where I'm hedging my bets. All right, so back to Injective. So as I was saying, definitely check this out. It's starting to heat up. It's mad to see this. One thing I do actually want to look at, which I haven't really spoken about a lot, is this is just going to take me to a random OpenSea page, but this is sort of where I'm going with this, is the potential of maybe not like NFT PFP collections on ETH, but art. Okay, art is one that I'm fascinated by, because it's just a sort of different mindset, and you really have to take a longer sort of mindset with art sort of plays on ETH. But I become very interested. I suppose the main sort of thing is a PFP collection that has probably more eyes, more interest, more liquidity is probably a good word for that as well. Is it going to outperform something like a digital art collection that could outperform like in a longer time frame? It's just one that I like to come and have a look at. Obviously, a lot of people are priced out. Like I'm priced out of these. Like Ringers is obviously one of the premier ones. The trademark by Jack Butcher. Jack Butcher. Don't get me wrong. A lot people love him. He's great, innovator, blah 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 in the space. It's fantastic for Web3 art. But I just think that he's starting to increase too much supply, and that does worry me because I then wonder also because he had the O'Peppins and he had the squiggle one. I don't know how much more you can outperform a squiggle O'Peppin in my opinion. Like the O'Peppins are clean by themselves, but a squiggle O'Peppin, that's epic, and I just don't see what sort of next collaboration can outperform them from an O'Peppin side of view. So I would look at this. I need to dive into the pudgy rods. There was rumors about the rods being something around like potential airdrop, potential tokens in the future. So I need to dive into that. That could actually be a really good trade at that because they are lagging in terms. Yeah, I'll be looking at that. So definitely do research on that too. But yeah, O'Peppin's down here. I just think he's starting to dilute his supply too much. But obviously, we look down here. The one I think I would potentially buy is a squiggle. Like they just have such a great reputation. I think if this hits like a 6 ETH floor, I think that's probably a good trade. But whether that trade is a better trade than say a pudgy at 8 is the trade-off that you have to think about. Like as you can see here, so this is a 7-day chart. Let's look at a 90-day chart. It's just been trending sideways. So this is what I mean. Like you can swing trade some of these from like low 8s to high 9s to low 8s to high 9s, but it's overall it's moving down. But it is one to maybe just have if you have that liquidity. It could be just one to have as exposure to art in NFTs on digital art because squiggles are just mad, man. They're so cool. Like I love that. I just love everything about that. It'd be so cool to have. But I think I'm a trader, a very aggressive trader. So I think for me, I'd probably be more willing to have a pudgy at 8 ETH than a squiggle at say 7 or 6 ETH. Okay. Last one that I'm going to show you guys is obviously we're on hyperspace here. So this is where you have AVAX NFTs. This is again where liquidity is starting to potentially come into. Obviously we're having a look at the volume. This volume is less than 100K. So I wouldn't be trading anything on AVAX NFTs just yet. You want liquidity there. Otherwise you're going to be stuck in trades for a while. Two top collections that I've heard of is obviously Woofy and Dokyo. Okay. I was looking at these as a swing trade the other day. Okay. I think they were, around this 30 range. We're looking at the 7-day, 1-day chart. Yeah, so it is trending down. Listings are going down, which is good to see. These did pump to like mid 50s. Yeah, so mid 50s. So if you have a look here, the green line is price. Okay, so floor. So we did. Yeah, so we're moving up, okay, which is good, but listings are moving out at the same time. So again, I want to see more liquidity move to hyperspace. Again, they have rewards here, so you could potentially see season 2 claim on January 4th. So again, there's airdrops everywhere, and I know that Celestia has some airdrops and some farming that you can do. I know that Injective might be having some potential plays as well. So you just need to find your niche and find the narratives that you're happy to play with, but I am starting to open my eyes to some other potential lucrative plays outside of my main bags of Solana, ETH, and etc. Right, so that's obviously what I'm looking at the moment, guys. I do have a couple of leverage trades open. I'm just going to have a look at them. Oh yeah, they're down a little bit at the moment. Yeah, the market's an interesting place at the moment. I'm very curious to see if we do continue higher over the coming weeks or so. The last thing I just want to say is just a sort of a appreciation thing. So I'm actually. Like I'm actually absolutely stoked at the moment, guys. So this is my YouTube page. I'm fast approaching 10K views, which is just crazy. So I thank you guys for being here today. I really do appreciate it. We're at 9.3K views at the moment. Like that's just incredible. It's great that people are supporting my content, and shout out to the Nifty for shouting out me a couple of times. But it's just nice to be rewarded. Like I put in the time and effort for literally the last year or so online. So it's just great to be recognized, I suppose, for all the hard work that I put in. But yeah, 10K views on YouTube is pretty mad. I still don't get paid on YouTube. It's quite a journey. If you don't know, you have to get some insane sort of metrics returns before you get paid. So it's probably another couple of months before I would see any payment on YouTube. So yeah, I do appreciate that you guys are here today. And I do appreciate that I'm about to tick over 10K views, which is pretty crazy in hindsight. So the last thing we'll touch on, obviously, I might just go back and look at some meme coin plays because I find this time of the day, obviously it's a weekend, so maybe, and it's also Sunday, so it's Saturday night for Americans and that sort of thing, and Europe might be sleeping. Yeah, Europe's probably asleep now. So it's you want to be very wary of plays on the weekend, just because the liquidity and the interest and the people maybe just aren't at their screens the same time as they are during the week. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. But I will we'll just have a quick scan of the market again. We're only be looking at Solana meme coins at the moment. Again, I like to look at the new pairs. Again, you want to be just very careful with plays like this. So you select new pairs over on the side, Solana up the top. You then look. So obviously it's currently ranked by volume. We're seeing that. We're seeing that Silly and some other tokens are at the top. Bulana, that was one that we were looking at before, so we might pull that one up again. We looked at Bonkmas before. Where's Snack? We were looking at that before. So I like to go back and have a look at those. We'll look at Bra too. So I'll pull up Bra first. And then so pull up Bra. Let's have a look. So it's at 65. So it's consolidated there. So it'd be interesting to see if this moves higher. Based on my knowledge, it might move higher. I trust the guy who supplied me with that knowledge as well. But if I go new pairs and then I go age and then I rank it by the latest ones, these are the ones that you can start to look at and how I get early access to tokens. Now, it takes a lot of time because you have to kind of sit here and actively look, and then you have to actively jump into, like, this one just looks ridiculous, but like it's at 43K, but it's probably moving, right? So we have a look here. So this is a Joe Biden, Sonic Queen, Elizabeth, whatever that is. But again, so I'll show you my process. I go in here, I look at the stats. So for Sol tokens, it doesn't have a security thing on Dex Screener, but for AVAX and for ETH, it does give you a little bit of insight early, which is great. So obviously I then take it to my two checks. So I'll show you how I go about that. So I copy the contract. Might add some tabs because it's running quite slow again. My apologies. All right, there we go. Out of a few tabs. All right, I come to rug check. Once it loads, I paste it in, and then we start to look at the token. Similarly, as the rug check is doing its check, excuse me, I like to search on Twitter as well. So if I click the search on Twitter, because my Twitter is already connected to this browser, I like to do a quick search on Twitter as the rug check is checking. I also chuck it into Soul Scanner, which I have been trading in and out of previously. But I like to have a look here and see, okay, so all right, there's already meme art. Okay, so there's interest there from a Twitter perspective. People already shouting this out 10 minutes ago. I then check the actual accounts that are doing it too. So quite a low person. Okay, I have a mutual follower, so that's good to know. Okay, so maybe my mutual follower, so maybe this is the account. So that's probably the account actually, guys, of the actual token. So that's good to see that they have some socials. Okay, so that's a positive sign. So Space Cowboy, shout out to you for looking. And then I like to scroll down to see whether there's actual people buying this and shilling it already on Twitter. So as you can see, so this is 2014. So like it's obviously 2017. So 2017, 2014, 2016, 5 minutes. Okay, so there's been 2 posts about it. Again, you can click the latest tab on Twitter as well. So 2 posts about it. So a couple more, obviously. A couple more. So okay, so it's showing me that there is potential interest on Twitter. So that's the first thing I like to check from a sentiment side of view. I then come back to rug check here. Oh, did I get out of my tab? No. Okay, I'll go back. Again, this is all very quick process. I go back to rug check. Okay, I check here that it's good. So I'm gonna have to have a drink of water. All right, thank you. Come back to rug check. It's saying good. So it has some, local liquidity, but a lot of early tokens have low liquidity. That's why there's a warning there. Mutable metadata. So this means that the metadata can be changed by their own. So that, again, something to be wary of. Again, we're just trying to trade in these, make as much Solana as we can, and then get out of them, okay? Top 10 holders here, a lot of radium in the pool, so that's 11%. So yeah, top holders are only at 2%. So that's pretty mad, okay? So that shows me, okay, that this one could potentially run. So that's the first things that I'll look at, okay? I then come back here. I then start to look at my levels. So we're currently on the 5-minute chart. So it's great to have a live trade. I probably won't take it, but just to show you what I would potentially do. I then would look at something like this, all right? So we're looking at a consolidation pattern there on the 5-minute. I then zoom into the 1 minute, okay? And then I look to see what levels are we breaking. So if this looks like it depends on your risk tolerance as well. So if you're a risky sort of trader, this is in the middle of a range right now. Like you could DCA into this level. So DCA just means dollar cost averaging. So in other words, you could enter a certain amount of your portfolio into the level, okay? So whether it's here, so this is, okay, it'd be very interesting to see whether this dip gets bought up. I would assume that it probably does, being this early. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Oh, man. Still overcoming my COVID. But as you can see here, so I'll be watching this. This is on the 1 minute chart. So this is a great example where it's so risky. And like we're at 30K market cap here, guys. So, okay, so it's closed the 1 minute there. I'd be keeping an eye on that level. and seeing whether it can come back into the consolidation breakout triangle or not. So I'll keep this open. Like, this is a really good potential trade for you guys to be. Oh no, I don't have it open. No. All right. So goddamn. Sorry guys. Okay. So where am I? GPS. Okay. So did you see? So again, I'll just show you my process. So I had it on rug check. You look at rug check. So sharing this tab. Yeah, so I'm on rug check. It's good. Okay, so it has low liquidity because it's a low supply token. It only has 30K in there. The top holders is at 20%. But the main pool has 11, so the top holders are at 222. So that shows me, okay, I'm interested in maybe getting into this. Okay, I then come back to the chart. So share this tab. Damn, I'm sorry I didn't have this open before. Come back to the chart. So this is where you have a look at the potential play here, guys. So I drew this support level down below. Again, this is TA on a token that's only 30K isn't reliable, but it just shows you whether you're bullish or whether you're bearish. Okay, so we're looking here. So this shows me, okay, that we want to respect this level here. If it can, then it might move up higher. I use the search button over here to search Twitter. I'm not sure if this showed up before or not, but I'll just show you as well. So I come back to Twitter. You can see here that people are starting to discuss it. That's the actual token. So they do have a social, so that's always good. And then as you can see here over on the side, there are a couple posts about it in the last 20 minutes or so. So that is good to see that they have the social side. I then come back to the chart and then I start to chart it. Okay, so I look at support and resistance levels. I look at potential breakout triangle. You could draw this triangle a couple of different ways. Like you could, but like it's trending up from there. So lower highs, higher lows, but then lower highs up here. You also could potentially draw the triangle a little bit differently. Not that one. So let's grab that one and then move that one down as well. So you could draw it a little bit more aggressively like that as well. It just depends sort of what the market structure of the price action is doing. As you can see, this is breaking down. But like I spoke about before, the interesting thing about Solana tokens is some of them do revive. So it's always good to just keep an eye on stuff like this. But that's a new token. So that's an example of what I do here. On JBS, I'm not going to take this trade because it's showing me weakness. But that's just the sort of process that I go through for these new tokens. So we might just I'll leave this chart open. We'll go back to the new pairs and just look again for another trade. So again, come back to age. Okay, we've got another one here. It's Neon Bonk. Okay, so again, this is even lower. So it's at 17K. This is how you get those quick returns. Like that token I got into yesterday, the name is escaping me. Oh, CN. I got into, Cartoon Network at 25K yesterday. It took off on Twitter. It took off in Telegram groups. So that went up to like 220K. So that was a quick 8X within like minutes, right? And that you could hold your bags and hope that it pumps to 1 million, pumps to 500K. But as I've always said, I like to aggressively take profits. So I was taking profits at different levels across the way just to make sure that you lock in some money, some profits. All right. So again, this is a new one here. So this is Neon Bonk. Again, you'll see a lot of different narratives around that. We'll come back here. We will do a quick check on Neon Bonk. Again, it's super risky, guys. That's 12K. Its current amount of liquidity in there, but also just its market cap's 12K. So have a look here. Wait for it to do its thing. Yeah, so warning, mutable, low liquidity. Yeah, but low liquidity is just because it's a new token, so that's why. Okay, this is where I wouldn't probably, so as you can see here, a main wallet has 15% of the supply. Obviously, if I know the dev, so the developer of the token, the contract, I know them well, and I know that they have a good history. And that's what the beauty is. Some of those bots on Telegram can tell you their history, how many rugs they have, etc. Then I might trust something like this. But as you can see here, it looks like there's allocation as well. So some like top holders all having a certain amount of supply or the same supply shows you that, okay, people are probably early into this, or multiple wallets, whether it's the owner here. Okay, 15% here. Maybe he has 4 wallets, or he or she has 4 wallets, right? Or maybe he's given it to his friends, and they're also in those tokens as well. So probably we'll avoid this one here, but that's one to keep an eye on. And I'm just saying that this is from a safety/security side of play. Like, don't get me wrong, like Bonk 2 is a great example where we could have made a 7x if I'd actually just taken the trade. But because I have my system, it's a safety, it's a security thing. I like to make sure that I am entering a trade that I know isn't going to rug me, okay? Whereas any of these trades could rug you anytime. Like I spent plenty of time on ETH and like getting rugged because they were a honeypot, which means like that people just went bang, took all the liquidity out and stole all the money. or so you can't trade it, or it was like people increased the tax and then the tax went up to 50% to get out of your trade. So it's things like that you just want to be super careful on these meme coins, guys. But yeah, this could pump, don't get me wrong, but it's just from a safety perspective. You just never know when those top holders could potentially be dumping their tokens. So again, we'll have a look. I'll bring it back to I'll bring you back to, why did that drop out? Kiwi looks good. All right, let's have a look. I'll bring you back to JBS. So again, this could pump back up into this range. Again, if it breaks up into here, I might be more interested for it to continue higher. Again, just being a low market cap is very risky. Okay. Which token was that you wanted me to look at? It was Kiwi. Okay, let's have a look. All right, Kiwi. So it's still trending, so that's always a good sign. So if we have a look, I'm on the 1 minute, so make sure you always zoom out. So yeah, okay, so it might be forming a potential double bottom. Like what I like to do with my double bottom patterns, you don't want it to have a big spike already, okay? So as you can see here, like it has kind of pumped. Yeah, it's not really a double bottom pattern, so I'll ignore that altogether. But a double bottom is like a big swoop like this. So it'd be like this, okay, and then a big swoop like this. But you don't want it to have that, like you don't want all this up here, okay? You want it to be only breaking up maybe a little bit and then coming back in to consolidate there. So that probably isn't a double bottom. But if I'm looking here on, what's this token? Kiwi, it could potentially be forming a bottom, yeah. So if you look at the 5 minute, yeah, so as you can see, it's a great eye, whoever shared that in the chat. Oh man, why is it, the screen keeps rugging me, man? All right, there we go. Sorry. Thanks, there we go. All right, all right, thanks, Slushy. So Slush, thanks for bringing it to my attention. But this is a really good example, okay? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll do my analysis again. On the 15 minutes, it could be like for a double bottom, okay? So a double bottom is something like this, all right? However, you don't want all of this big breakout already because that shows me that it's already broken out. It's taken all that liquidity up there and it's coming back down into this range. So what you would like it to maybe do is price to be up, maybe come back in, retest the double bottom, and then look for that move higher over here after, okay? So that's what a double bottom play is. This one here in front of us probably isn't a double bottom, but it is something to just keep an eye on as you are watching the token. Now, again, I'm on the 15 minute. I'm going to zoom into the 5 minute. And if you have a look here, we were setting lower lows, okay? But now we're setting higher lows, okay? So as you can see, we're starting to break that structure of a bullish, we're moving into a bullish continuation rather than a bearish continuation. Whether you take the trade, that's the next sort of thing. So I'd be looking for, there's not much here to really chart in terms of support because that's sort of a bit iffy there. So I'd just be keeping an eye on this as to see whether it does maybe break above this previous level. So the only trade I would have taken is probably this move out of here. So I would have been looking there for that retest and then there. If you can either trade the retest when it retests that breakout zone there. I might zoom in a little bit so you guys can see a bit better. Amend that, move it into center and move it up. Okay, so the two trades that I like to trade with, guys, is it either breaks out here, and that's the trade that I like. Often it'll come back and retest the breakout zone, okay? The second trade to look for is that trade down there, okay? So the first trade is either here, okay, in this zone here where it's starting to move up, all right? Or the second trade that I look for is here on the retest. Now, not always does it retest, okay, the potential TA that you're looking at. Often it can get close, but that's where I would then look for that continuation higher. So those are the two trades that I would take. It hasn't moved up too much, moved up 10%. So you could potentially still take it. But again, you want to be, okay, the other big factor for me when trading these is there a decline in volume? Okay, so there is. And then is there going to be a volume spike? So if there's no volume spike, so if you look down here, if there's no volume spike down there and this green volume spike doesn't start to get above previous levels up here, okay, that's when I would start to probably look, that's when I would start to look at probably not taking this trade or looking to cut that trade if it doesn't show me that there's a lot of buying pressure there. So I hope that gives you a bit of insight into, again, the way that I like to trade. Sorry for the screen. I don't know. It keeps rugging me, guys. So that's sort of, again, there's a few good trading stories in that video today in this live stream. If there's any other tokens you want me to check out, I'm more than happy to do that. If not, we might call it quits very soon. I might come back and just share some of the ones that we were looking at earlier. So this is Bolana. Okay, so again, it did break out, and this is a classic example where you can get the immediate pump. Okay, so it pumped. Oh, this is the one that doesn't show you the returns. Silly. But again, essentially this is probably up, like that's probably, I'm going to say, a 20 to 30% move. So you could swing trade it, but as you can see here, it's starting to look at that retrace now. Whether, yeah, so it's dumping. So fascinating, really. So I would look, either it holds this level here and moves up, okay, with a spike in volume down here, okay. I would love for a spike in volume to be down there. But if it doesn't, then I would be thinking that it probably bounces. The more time it bounces on a particular support level or a resistant level, the more it's going to break through. So the more times that it bounces like this, okay, bouncing, you could nearly classify that one as bounce. Another one here, another one, another one, another one, another one. The more likely it is that this continues down. Okay, it's the same as if it's bouncing the other way too. So if we have a chart like this, okay, so say this is a range, and say we have price action moving up against it. So we have it up here, it bounces up here, it never goes down to the back one, and it keeps bouncing, and then eventually it's going to break through. Often you want to get the retest of that zone, and then it moves up like that. Okay, that's how I like to trade, guys. Very simple, very easy way. You'll see a lot of traders, like I said earlier, Trader XO trades like support and resistance zones. That's just the best way to trade and the easiest way to trade, in my opinion, particularly with the meme coins, but particularly with the altcoins that have a larger market cap. So that's Bolana. Let's just quickly look. I'll check the chat in a sec. So we're looking at Bonk Miss here again, 65K. It hasn't really moved too much. It looks like it's just sort of chilling there. So that shows me there's not much interest. Again, it's a weekend, so I probably wouldn't take that trade. Okay, great. We have one that did move up. Okay, so this is Sneck. So shout out to whoever shared that earlier, but Sneck is moving up. Okay, so I'll just get out my other tabs because they are slowing me down. All right. Excuse me. All right, so Snacks there, guys. As you can see, this is a great example of where it retested this bottom zone. So again, this is probably the only other example where I would look to enter a trade. So the enter of the trade would be either there, okay, here before the breakout, because it's retesting that high there. So that's 1, 2 potential entries, or that first retest, and that's the retest right there, guys. Even though it doesn't get there, it's the first dump of the tokens after it's broken out of that zone. So if you look there, that's 3 potential entries that you could have on some of these meme coins that I like to have. Okay, again, this could have broken down. So a triangle pattern like this is either it has a probability that it can go up or it can go down. It just depends on price action, and then you just play it by ear based on those. So if you're a really risky trader, you could have entered your trade there. Oh, that was a shocking line there. Sorry. You could have entered your trade there if you're a bit more risky, but you chase the chance that it could actually break down here. But then you just cut the trade really quickly. On Solana, that's easy because it's gasless and it's fast. Okay. Alternatively, you're trading this zone here before it breaks up, or you're trading this wick as it comes back down to retest, okay? That's how I like to trade. Those 3 zones are where I like to trade a potential play, and this one's obviously moved up. If you got the bottom here, it's already moved up like a 3x. If you caught, and again, this is on a 5-minute chart, so these things move quick. If you caught this breakout here, you'd be up a 2x, and then obviously if you tested the retest there, you'd be up probably at 80%. So that's sort of mindset into how I like to go about my trades. Obviously, then if you get into a trade nice and early and it's a token that takes off, so Bonk 2 is a great example where we saw that in my group at 400K the other day. That pumped to like 2.5 million or something. So like that's one that can, if the narrative is there, that's how you get those 10x's, those 20x's, those 100x's potentially. Often I haven't seen a lot of plays on Solana yet hit an incredible amount of return. There I have been a couple, but it's more often that when liquidity returns to ETH meme coins, there's probably more returns in meme coins on ETH. So that's the way that I like to trade, okay? So that's where I enter lol 100x or dust at the bottom, Des. I love that, Des. Yeah, so like again, it depends on your risk tolerance. You could DCA. So like I said, dollar cost average into a trade. So I'd probably look to let's change the color. Where is it? Oh, it's not going to. It doesn't have it on this screen. Anyways, you could DCA, like you could have one sol. Let's make it blue. So you could have one sol there. You could have your next sol there, and then you could have your next sol there, and then you could have 3 sol in the trade. That's a terrible 3, but you could have three sol in the trade, and your entry level is probably, this is where your average entry level is at that middle range here. So then that way your return of investment is going to be better, and that way, look at that. That's a 2.3x. Okay, so that's where it's better to trade because you want to be entering at several levels, and that's the same for like your leverage trades as well. When you're trading leverage, you want to have multiple entries. So then that way you're not ruining yourself by only having your one big bag in one potential entry. unless you're super convicted in a trade, that's when you would maybe just dump your total amount that you're allocating to that trade. Excuse me. So obviously the last thing I might touch on as we're touching base around that is just how much you're allocating to these sort of trades. Now, on the meme coin side of things, I allocate I would say when I enter a particular meme coin, so say I was entering SNEC just then, I would say my max position would be, it would probably be less than 1% of my whole portfolio worth. So this is where you need to be mindful. Like, you can make incredible returns, but you want to make incredible returns with a small amount of your percentage of your portfolio, okay? Because you don't want to be allocating too much, because some of these meme coins could just absolutely go to zero, and you could ruin like a high percentage of your portfolio if you're trading with too much of your portfolio. So definitely keep in mind how much you're actually allocating to your potential trades on these meme coins. So there's a collection if you want to check it. Is it on I'm assuming it's on Sniper. So it's a soul collection. Let's have a look. All right. So I assume the NFTs maybe pumping too. Maybe I could take the NFT trade. The snacks, GM snacks. There's a couple. Snack Gang, Snack 3D. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Floor. 1 day volume. This one has the most volume, so I'll click on that one. All right. So if we have a look here, Snack. Is this what you, Des? Yeah, you got there. Des can confirm for me in the chat, please, bro. So we have a look here. Yeah, so listings have gone up, so that's bullish. But obviously, this is how old is this? Let's have a look. So this collection 2021. Wow, it's an OG collection. I love it. So I wonder if this is associated to the token. Des is saying that it is. Serge. Yeah. Hey Serge, how are you, bro? Good to see you, man. So if we're having a look, sorry, that's the wrong thing. Here we go. Yep. So it's obviously, yeah, look, I wouldn't be touching something like this. I mean, if it gets the liquidity, so we're having it's only had 0.5 SOL returns. So if you look at it's only had one sale. So it looks like the snacks might be associated with it, but I doubt it actually is, based on the returns. Otherwise, we probably would have seen more sales in the NFT side of things too. So yeah, that's it, Des. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's lagging if they've created a token for the NFT supply. Maybe it's lagging. So I don't know. There's only one sale in the last week on that, so I wouldn't be touching that. All right, so that's SNEC. Obviously that's sort of, again, that's some good life lessons there around how I like to trade. Again, I would like to, I always take my initials out at 2x. So this is obviously pumped around to 2x. This looks like it might be breaking high right now as we're speaking, guys. So again, this is where you look for that continuation. So I've got a lot of stuff on the chart. Hold on, let me get rid of it all. All right, so looking here, guys, this is a great example where it looks to be potentially breaking high, okay? So again, I zoom in. This is on the 5 minute. You zoom in on the 1 minute just to see what's happening. And that way, so this deviation, this would have probably been a worry for a lot of people. But again, it's a higher low, so that's where you're looking for that bullish structure there. So that's bullish there. But as you can see here, this is probably bullish continuation if it can keep getting that volume. So there's green spikes in there of volume. So that's what you want to see. Okay, and here, this is a great example. See these? Okay, let me zoom out a little bit for you so you can see. So this is what I mean by the volume spikes. So see, we had the breakout. We had the breakout. We had the retest here. And then we had these mad green volumes, okay? Spikes, okay? That's what you want to see in a trade. If you don't have those volume spikes, price might move up, but it's going to move back down really quickly because there's not enough volume in it, okay? So that's, again, a nice indicator for you to use when you're tracking. Now, two ways this trade could play out here. Let me just show you. So the first thing is it'll either break out here and retest, then go higher, okay, like that. Or it might come down here, it might double, and then it might break down again. Both can be bullish. Again, like I said before, if this sets another higher low here, it might then continue higher after that. So if it doesn't, where I would then place my cut, where I would look to cut the trade after I've taken my initial profit here, because we are up already, like if you entered the trade here, you're already up 2.2x, all right? I would cut my trade here if it is weak there. Now, again, as I said earlier, I'm a super aggressive trader because I protect my portfolio. Now, by all means, this could dip below here, bang, 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 and then literally absolutely send. But I would rather save my capital in the event that it goes to zero than miss that pump. And you don't be emotional about your trading. I'm going to release a video soon about that, like 5 lessons to know about crypto. Like, don't be an emotional trader. Don't go back and look at what could have happened, okay? Because if you do that, you won't have longevity in this space. You'll ruin yourself. and you won't stay here. You won't be interested in this potential lucrative opportunity that we're going to see ourselves in for the next year, if not longer. So definitely try your best to come up with a system that works for you, and then that way you're going to have a better mindset when you're going into trades. It's always good to go back and look at what potentially did play out, and maybe have a moon bag there. Okay, if you're happy to have a moon bag in a potential coin, then that's fine by all means, but don't go back and be super regretful because you didn't take a trade to the peak. Okay, you're never going to sell the top. You're never going to buy the bottom. Like, that's just a simple rule of thumb. Like me, like I had Joe on ETH, man. I bought that at 130K. It pumped to 30 million. 30 million. That's an incredible return. I can't even do the math. Like, where's my phone? Like, just out of curiosity. So 130 divided by 30 mil is 30 mil divided by 130,000. That's a 230x. I got out at I think it was like a 50 to 70x. I got out and I was stoked with that, right? But I could have had a 230x. But I don't think like that, because if I didn't take my profits on Joe, I wouldn't have then taken my next entry into LMI, which did another 70x. So that's the way you got to trade, guys. Okay. I might keep this chart open. Like, this might be the last thing that we do today, unless there's anything else in the chat. No, nothing else in the chat. So yeah, shout out for your being here. Obviously, if you're new, please subscribe. Please like the stream. Thanks for all being here today. But we'll keep an eye on Kiwi just for now. On SNEC. Kiwi is breaking down as well, so it's set a low, so that's where I would look to cut that trade. It obviously, yeah. So you know what? I'll bring it back to this chart just to show you. It's showing weakness here because we have a green. Look at that. There's no volume supporting this breakout, so you want to have green volume down the bottom so that it breaks up higher and then continues on. Okay, so there's no reason. That's a lot of why this hasn't broken out. Now again, it could potentially hold this. If it holds this level here, it might move up. Okay, I've got a lot on the chart again. Let me get rid of it for you. But if you have a look here, guys, it could potentially hold this level, but most likely it'll break down because there's no green volume entering. Okay, back to SNEC. All right, so we're looking at SNEC here. This is again on the 1 minute, so it's always good to zoom out, just double check what's happening. Yep, so still it looks even on the 5 minute, it would be a higher low if we can get that. But let's have a look in the 1 minute. So I'll just watch this and then we might wrap up for today. So thanks for being here, obviously, guys. Yeah, you're right, man. Cheers. Thanks for being here. All right, so we'll have a look. Again, as soon as this, like, I've obviously taken profits up here in my 2x. That's how I trade. It's good to get your initials, maybe even a little bit of profit. So take 60% out of your trade at a 2x just to lock in some money. But then I would be looking at this level here as my cut. And that's just the way I like to trade. It's how I've been successful for months and months trading meme coins to a system, and you keep sticking to that system. As soon as you waver out that system, as soon as you get too emotional, that's where you start to lose trades. That's where you start to lose money. Okay, and your mindset starts to go out as well. So it's a balance of all of it at the end of the day. So all right, so this is on the 1 minute. Again, you want closure. So so the way I like to go about these sort of trades is on the 1 minute. Obviously, we're looking like we might be ticking up. We've got a green volume candle down the bottom, so that's good. But I would want closure. So these candles close every 5 minutes. I'm on the 5 minute chart now. So I would want closure of this green candle here as green. So I would want it to close either here or a bit higher. Okay, to show me that it is another higher low. Because if it doesn't, then that's where I'd start to worry that this trade might not be as successful again. Okay, what's the 5 minutes? So we've got another 3 minutes. I'm happy to stay on for a little bit longer just to see what happens, but we'll watch the 1 minute trade. I'll just pull up the chat again. Yep, easy, no questions. That's great. So if we have a look here, yeah, we'll just keep an eye on the 1 minute for the next couple of minutes, and then we'll see whether the 5 minute closes a green candle, and then it should continue higher. Obviously, you want to be actively watching the chart because it might obviously break down. A big dumper might come in and sell the token, so that's what you've got to be careful of. All right. Wolf mooned. Wolf on AVAX. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, so so this is great, guys. So we got the 1 minute chart here. Okay, as you can see, it's starting to dump. So I'd be keeping an eye on that. Okay, we'll look at Wolf in a sec. Slash, we'll look at Wolf. Wolf on AVAX. All right, I'll have a look. So if we have a look here, I might just get out of that stream there. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll come back to SNEC. No, we'll keep SNEC on, and then we'll have a look at Wolf before I go. I might just bring up on another tab. All right, so let's have a look. Moon. Moon's a funny word, mate. Yeah. It's moved up a little bit. Wolf moon. I don't know. I don't know much. You don't have to. No, no. We'll look at moon, bro. No, no. Hey, I'm not gonna say it mooned, but I'll bring it up in a sec. All right. So snack obviously looks like it's still a higher low here on the 1 minute. But if you look in the 5 minute, yeah, it looks like it's gonna break down. So again, this is probably where my conviction is. I would look to probably I'd want this candle or the next candle to be green. So this next 5 minute candle, which I won't stay on for, but yeah, it looks like it's going to dump. So this is where I would then, okay, at 100K, bang, I'm out. Obviously we got in at what level is this? Like down at the 60K level. If we caught the breakout, you obviously got in around the 37K level if you got in. So that's still a 3x to this level now. So that's where you got to be thankful for your returns. And that's why you DCA your average. Because if you're entering only a trade here, like currently that's only a 30% move, and then you're looking to cut. And if slippage comes into it, guys, like you might end up cutting like down here and only making like a 5%. And if thieves come into it, then you might actually not make profit at all. So that's where you just need to be super, super wary. Excuse me. Sorry. Oh, goodness. Super wary. I'm sorry for your ears. Super wary of your sort of tokens like this because they can just dump straight away. But you never know. This might again, like I said, this might hold this level. So it is holding. So that's where you just need to be wary. Right. So it might hold this level and then continue up after. But it's a breakdown from this structure that we're looking at here. Okay, over on the side. For Wolf. Again, I'll share Wolf just before we go. So as you can see here, obviously if I zoom in, this is on an hourly, so it is quite like this is a nice little move up, but that's bullish, man. That's bullish. Okay, like you said, that's a 10%, 11% candle. That's pretty good. So we're moving back into the 7 mil range. So it looks like the 7 mil support level is what you're looking at for Wolf. Okay, so this is on AVAX, guys. Just for those that are joining or those that are just watching, but I would watch for this to continue up, okay? And I would love for it to hold this level and then move up again. Maybe even form like a double bottom. So come down, double bottom, and then move up, okay? Is what I'd be looking for Wolf, okay? Outside that, I'll just check the chat again. Excuse me. Gosh, guys. No, thanks. It's been a great stream today. So looking at the chart, yeah, no chats, no chart. All right, amazing. All right, let's go back. All right, so thanks all for being here, guys. I really do appreciate it. Please subscribe down below if you haven't already. Turn that notification bell on. I am releasing videos every single day as long as I'm healthy. Obviously, I've had a few days where I've been a bit sick, and you've heard it today, and I apologize for hearing that. My last video, I'm touching up a new camera. I'm trying to get that to work. Unfortunately, I had to use my webcam today for the live. It just doesn't want to work for some reason. So I am dropping videos every single day. New setup with the camera, so it should be nice and crisp. New microphone as well, so hopefully that works out really well. Smash that like button if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. Thanks so much for being here. Obviously, if you came in late, please go back to the start of the stream, watch through. There's plenty of good insight that I provided today around altcoins, around Bitcoin and ETH. You can trade different ways, support and resistance, etc., and whatnot. So definitely be sure to check out my channel. I'm reaching 10K views, which is just mad. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching my content. I really do appreciate it. And obviously, follow me on X if you don't already. I assume a lot of you are. I've seen, a lot of your names are quite familiar, so I'm sure you all do. So thanks again for being here. Shout out to all of you for giving me some content to look at, and I'll be sure to I might do another live stream tomorrow morning. I'll see how I'm going. What day is it? It's Monday tomorrow morning. I've got a few meetings tomorrow morning, a few appointments, so I might not. I'll see. I'll have a chat to my Alpha group and see. On the Alpha group point, I'm probably going to be closing that in the new year. So that gives you 2 more weeks if you are watching this to send me a DM on Twitter and reach out if you are potentially keen to join. I'm going to start capping that very soon because we might be looking at doing something a little bit different in 2024. So thanks all for being here. Appreciate you all. Have a lovely day and take care, and I'll see you again soon.